Hi, everyone. I'm excited to kick off a new season and the new year by spotlighting a really good friend of mine who is going against the grain of society. His name is Greg. Greg has stepped down from the CEO position of a national nonprofit called Campfire. He's not retiring. He's not jumping into another job. He's not waiting for the stars to align to tackle the bucket list. Greg is taking a break at an age when most people are in the prime of their careers. He's taken off on an adventure to see this country in an RV. This isn't just a sabbatical from work. Greg is working on his family, on his marriage, on his health, on his heart, and he's working on the hearts of others. He's recalibrating his priorities back to what's most important in life, and it's not the 9 to 5. Greg's story of taking a professional gap year wasn't just a whimsy, fly-by-the-seat-of-pants decision. We're picking up Greg's journey at the start of his camping adventure, but there is so much more to unpack about how he got there and the 12 months of planning to prepare for this launch. And we'll dive right into Greg's story when we come back. You are listening to the Work-Life Eubiosis podcast with your host, Charleston Edwards. If this is your first time here, welcome. My goal is simple: to eradicate burnout and to bring harmony, purpose, and balance to this world, starting with the family. My hope is that this show and the story shared will provide encouragement and ideas that will be valuable to you on your journey to work-life freedom. So let's dive in to today's episode. I've been fortunate to know Greg for the last 10 years, as we were former colleagues. When I took the leap back into entrepreneurship in 2021, our friendship grew even stronger through the highs and lows of life, and we have mentored and inspired each other ever since. What I can share about Greg is that he's a walking, talking image of the core values of this podcast and the Own Your 5 to 9 initiative. He loves his family. He's a hard worker. He leads people with integrity. Greg prioritizes the values of others, and he keeps situations in the correct and positive perspective. Greg is highly attuned to avoid the traps that society throws our way, which is to steal our freedoms and our joy. What's fascinating is that Greg took the leap off the ladder responsibly. I can't highlight this point enough. Greg fulfilled his obligations to his former employer, and instead of 2 weeks, he succession planned for a full year. In fact, every aspect of this jump has been fully integrated and intentional for a journey to improve his relationship with his health, finances, family, and faith. Greg has redefined the exit strategy from the 2-week notice to the 2-year strategic plan. Greg will be the first to say humbly that he is far from being perfect, far from being financially independent forever, nor has he figured it all out. He also knows that he has advantages and freedoms that unfortunately are not equally distributed across this population. And that's what makes Greg's journey so fascinating. In his humility, he has still found freedom to live in a way that is countercultural from society's playbook and to still serve others. So with all of that being said, today is just the introduction to this real-time story. The Work-Life Eubiosis is thrilled to follow Greg on his 2020-25 sabbatical and his journey around the United States, while going into deep dive interviews with Greg into how he has pulled off fearlessly taking off 12 months of work with no guaranteed employment afterwards. In addition, we will get to be the fly on the wall of Greg's journey into the creation of the next phase of his career. Will he go back into full-time employment? Will he become an entrepreneur? Or will something else unfold? Meanwhile, let's dive into Greg's burning ladder. Dear listener, December 31st was my last day as the Campfire CEO. The last 6 years have been the most challenging, but also the most rewarding of my professional career. I let the board know a few months ago that I would be resigning at the end of the year to give them time to find the next CEO. I am grateful to have been blessed to work with an amazing staff, board, and Campfire affiliate network around the country. I am taking a professional pause, a gap year, to travel the country with my wife and father-in-law. We sold our house and closed on November 22nd, and we leave on January 6th for an adventure traveling around the country in our camper. It's what my in-laws dreamed of doing when they retired, but never had the opportunity to do so. We're so happy to be able to do it with him now. So no work for me for the next year, or at least the foreseeable future. Life is too short to wait for retirement. As I contemplated this decision, I found myself asking about a year ago, why not now? I've witnessed too many friends and family battling different health issues, and I've seen too many people work their entire lives only to get to retirement and not be able to enjoy it with their loved ones. So I'm excited for this next year, and along the way, I hope to figure out what's next for me professionally. After our tour of the country, we don't know where we're headed or where we're going to live after that. Part of that scares me, but it mostly excites me. Life is short. My advice from this experience of taking this gap year is to take that trip. Call those you love and tell them that you love them. Do something crazy. You never know when it's going to be your last day. Thank you to the countless people who have gotten me to where I am at today and to be able to make this decision. I've tried to live my life according to this quote and will continue to do so while I'm taking a break and in whatever I do next. The quote is, live simply, love generously, care deeply, speak kindly, leave the rest to God. It's worked so far, so I don't see any reason to change that now. Sincerely, Greg. We'll be right back with a few applications. This episode is brought to you by Own Your 5 to 9, an organization committed to freeing families of the rat race and burnout. Every organization has a leader, mission, and a set of values that drives the organization. But this is commonly missed in the most important organization in the world, the family. An organization has one mission for how it will impact the world. Why not the family? An organization goes into strategic planning routinely to align its values, mission, and projects. Why not the family? Whose Home, a strategic planning guide for families, is a workbook and a tool needed in all households. Whose Home takes a strategic planning approach with 10 guided exercises to define your core family values, family mission, and tools to operationalize how your family does life together. If your family is facing a big decision, Whose Home is for you. If you're considering a career pivot, Whose Home is also for you. If you desire more intentionality and harmony in your home, Whose Home is for you. Create a healthy culture, not a hustle culture, at home. Visit ownyour5to9.com to claim your copy today. Welcome back. I'm personally inspired by Greg's decision and his courage to take this adventure at this point in his career, and I hope you are too. We will be interviewing Greg on this platform throughout the year to look back at his planning and to look forward to what's next. Meanwhile, here are 3 takeaways for this point of the journey of Greg's burning ladder. Number 1, life is too short to live by the American script. May we all do a daily assessment of why we do what we do. Number 2, no matter where we are at in life or circumstances, we have more control than what we think. And lastly, don't wait for the stars to align to start planning for what God has already put on your heart. Thank you for listening to the Work-Life Eubiosis podcast, part of the Work-Life resources created by Own Your 5 to 9. I hope that you have found encouragement and a few ideas to strengthen your journey to purpose, freedom, and balance. Have you overcome burnout and found a new way of life? Millions around the globe are still at the risk of burnout and losing it all. And your story may be the one that sparks not only a dream, but action. Visit ownyour5to9.com for more information and submit your story. While you're there, join the Work-Life Eubiosis newsletter and receive additional resources weekly right to your inbox. If you enjoy this podcast, take time to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Share it with a friend or loved one. Remember, the most important organization in the world is the family. Let's do our part to strengthen it. Thank you for listening.